Hey everyone, lots of people complained that I only go after the low-hanging fruit, so please send me some examples of high-hanging fruit that you'd like me to address if that's one of your complaints. Keeping with my obvious low-hanging fruit nature, I was sent a request to respond to a video from BuzzFeed, which is titled 24 Questions Black People Have for White People. Well, black people, since these morons have decided to speak for you, I'll speak for all white people in this video, because treating skin color like we do hair color is out of the question. We all must be different but the same simultaneously. Those are the rules, I forgot. Anyway, hit me with your questions. I'm as prepared as I'm going to be. I have a drink right here, and since these questions are super duper serious and not passive-aggressive snark directed at white people, I'm going to be super serious and not snarky right back. Let's begin. May someone somewhere have mercy on my soul.
Why do you always make such horrible decisions in horror movies? It's not cool to split up.
Because that's what the director tells us to do. That's what was written down in the script. It's not my fault that the directors write white people in horror movies as morons. Are you seriously asking fictional characters why they make decisions?
Why do you freak out when black people are cast to play white fictional characters?
I don't actually. But I assume that people do that because they want to preserve the original visage of the character in question. I'm sorry to answer a question with another question, but I have a strong feeling that you would freak out if a white person were cast to play Shaft. Why is that? There's your answer. Oh, wait, no, that's probably not your answer. It would probably be along the lines of appropriating my culture and blah, blah, fucking blah.
What's the big deal if Idris Elba plays James Bond? I would go see it twice.
Same question.
Why is a big butt and big lips considered attractive on a white woman, but they're unattractive on a black woman?
Okay, yeah, let me explain the big lips and big butt thing. See, there's a qualifier in there. You have to actually be relatively attractive around the lips and butt for those things to be pluses. If you're a complete dumpster fire and just happen to have only big lips and a big ass, then those two positive qualities are pretty much rendered ineffective. And trust me, whatever your name is, if you had lighter skin, I still wouldn't find you attractive. You look like one of those people who gets up every morning, stares at themselves in the mirror and says, "Why don't guys find me attractive? I have a big butt and big lips." It has nothing to do with your race, sweetheart. Trust me, it's just you. White skin wouldn't make a difference. Moving on.
Do y'all really think Miley is the one who created twerking? Really?
No. Well, that was simple.
Why am I supposed to teach you how to twerk? I don't know how to twerk.
I already know how to twerk. Thank you very much. Self-taught, no lessons. I mean, I don't mean to brag or anything.
Why is it that white people always act as though they have discovered a new trend when people of color have been doing it for virtually years?
Because it's the first time they're seeing it. Notice how you said the word discovered and not created. Obviously, if they've discovered a trend, then they're noticing that it exists already, right? Are you asking white people why they think they discover something when they discover it? Probably because reality works that way. Not that hard.
Why is it when a black woman wears her hair natural, it's seen as inappropriate, but when a white woman does, it's praised?
I've never seen this happen in my entire life. I've never heard anyone tell me a story about it happening up until you did. This sounds like something you experienced once in life, and now think it's because of your race. Maybe your hair specifically, not all black people's hair obviously, but your hair specifically looked like shit when you wore it naturally one day, or someone thought that it looked like shit, then saw someone else, probably a white person, and thought their hair looked good when worn naturally in their subjective opinion. But no, it's because you're a black person.
This is the hair that I was born with, so you wearing it as a trend is not cute.
This was the skin color I was born with, so when you bleach your ass... I'm sorry, I'm sure everyone knew where I was going. I couldn't hold it together.
Like, can you appropriate my student loans? Can you take that off my hands?
Right, because if a black person does something first or invents something, all black people get to own that thing and take credit for its creation. And anyone else who isn't black who makes use of it must bow to the king or queen of black people, by the way, still waiting on whose permission is acceptable, is appropriating that thing. If that's your legitimate view, then get the fuck off the internet. I don't give you permission to use it. Oh wait, does that sound a little fucked up? I agree.
Why is it that white crime is seen as an isolated incident, but black crime is a representation of my entire community?
Because you only like to watch and read material that says that, and ignore all of the other material that doesn't portray it as a representation of your community. And maybe if something is extremely common in an area, it isn't surprising when people view that thing as representative of that area. They say the same thing about white people who commit crimes in horrible neighborhoods. Okay, I can't keep that going anymore.
When we see a story on TV about a white serial killer, I don't automatically assume that all white people must be serial killers too.
Just like I don't see a story on TV about black people robbing a bank and automatically assume that all black people must be bank robbers too. When was the last time you ever saw a story on TV where they said, typical black people robbing stores? No. Are you just assuming all white people are racists now? Don't be sensei.
Why does talking about race make you feel so uncomfortable?
Because whenever race seems to come up, it always paints white people in a negative light. Try to remember any moment in your life where something positive about white people has come out of your mouth. You have plenty of wonderful things to say about your inherent attributes. Care to say anything nice about white people? I sincerely wish we could just see race like we do hair color or eye color. I mean, that's how I've seen it my entire life. But if you walked up to someone and said, if you have the time, I'd like to talk to you about your hair color and how it affects people's perceptions of you, I'd get uncomfortable as fuck. What kind of a question is that? Maybe if you could stop guilt-tripping white people whenever you talk about race, then maybe there could be an actual discussion. But no, it always comes down to how we don't notice the benefits society gives us, not all of us of course, just the ones with money, and how good we have it compared to you, even if you're 15 times richer than the white person you're talking to, and they are scared if they contend one of your points, you'll either call them stupid, blind, or racist. Maybe that's why white people get uncomfortable around you when you talk about race, sir. Just maybe.
Is it because you think that you'll be perceived as racist if you talk about race?
Fucking yes. Because white people's opinions about racism is illegitimate to you. For the record, I'm talking to you, not all black people. See? Why did I even need to fucking say that?
You don't really believe that racism is over because we have a black president, do you?
No. Racism will always exist. But having a black president proves that it isn't a widespread societal problem. Unless you're someone who voted for Obama simply because he's black, then yeah, you might be a little racist.
Why is it so easy for you to notice when there are no white people around, but you hardly ever notice when there are no black people around?
I actually do notice when there are no black people around, because I have eyes and I can see what skin tone my company has. I honestly just don't really pay attention to it. It's not something I actively go over in my head. I have brown hair, right? It's like saying, how come you notice when there are no brown-haired people around, but you hardly ever notice when there are no blonde people around? It's a stupid question. Next!
Why is your goal to be colorblind?
I actually enjoy being able to see colors. My goal is not to be colorblind. I like being able to identify colors. You know, this thing's red, that thing's purple. Oh, you meant something else. Well, of course they don't mean literally colorblind, right? They probably made that their goal because you keep telling them that they aren't. And they think that race is an unimportant factor when learning about someone's character. Someone said once that character is more important than skin color, that people should be judged by their character, not by the color of their skin. Jeez, what was his name? Somebody help me out.
There's so many different types of people in the world, yet you can't see color?
It's a metaphor.
Why do you want to say the N-word so badly?
If I don't use it, what makes you think you can?
Because I don't allow other people to control my speech through force or pearl clutching. Freedom of speech includes the right to offend, and no one, not even entitled, sensitive, professional offense takers like yourselves, can stop me from exercising my right to say any word, to include the word nigger. Anyway, they probably want to say it since they've had it forbidden by you. It's kind of a human thing.
Why do you always want to touch our hair?
Trust me, I don't want to touch anything on you.
Who told you it was okay to touch people without their permission?
Nobody. Are there seriously just squadrons of white people going, ooh, ah, as they grope your hair? Screw off.
Why do you feel like having one black friend makes you a cultural expert or not a racist?
I don't. I'm sorry, was I talking to the wrong black people? Please direct me to the appropriate black people in my immediate area who can teach me about your culture. Oh, wait a second. Not every black person's culture is exactly the same, and I'm sure that you're a cultural expert just for being black, am I right? And the whole not a racist thing. How are you supposed to prove a negative? If a black person screams at a white person, you're a racist, and the white person says, no, I'm not, and then the black person goes, oh yeah, prove it. Then the white person panics and says, well, this is my friend Scott, he's black. Then you laugh and say, really? You're going to use the black friend's excuse? That's why the prove it needs to be given to the person making the positive claim. You know, the one making the accusation of racism.
Is your only black friend comfortable with being the reason why you can't be racist?
Are you telling that black person that they're so dumb that they're willing to get into a friendship with someone who hates them based on their skin color? There I go, answering a question with a question again.
By that logic, then I'm not racist. I have a ton of white friends.
Well, thank goodness you don't think that they're serial killers. Wait a minute. Are you implying that you are a racist and we just aren't noticing or something? That was a really fucking weird statement, dude.
Why do you feel comfortable cursing at your parent?
I don't. I'd get knocked around if I did.
Why do you kiss your dogs on the mouth?
I don't have a dog.
How come you can't pronounce black names like Quvenzhané, but can say names like Schwarzenegger, Galifianakis, and LaBeouf just fine?
Quvenzhané. Where's my medal? By the way, what if I wanted to name my daughter Quvenzhané? Would it still be a black name? Oh my goodness. God. What am I thinking? Appropriation. Everything about black people and white people needs to be separated by an equality wall. My apologies.
Why do you feel like all lions' lives matter, but black lives don't?
I actually value black lives more than I do lions' lives. Man, these questions are easy as hell.
Why is a lion's life in Africa more important than the lives of black people here in America?
They aren't. The news covers pretty much every incident where a black person and a white cop get into any sort of confrontation because Schrodinger's racist. And let's just zoom in for a moment. Look at your fucking face. You're talking about people dying. You're trying to get people to care about the lives of people, and you have this shit-eating grin on, like, ha ha ha, I gotcha. What the hell's the matter with you? This is not the face of someone who actually cares about anything. It's the face of someone who thinks they've discovered racism in people where it doesn't exist, and smirks because he thinks he's discovered more racism. It's almost like it gives you joy to discover it. I won't dare speculate about what that says about your mental framework.
What does Simba ever do for you?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that someone had to do something for me before their life started mattering. Maybe that's just me.
I get it. Lion King was an awesome movie. But so was Selma, and so was Malcolm X.
Don't patronize me, fuckwit.
Why is it so hard for you to acknowledge your privilege?
Because you simply take it to be true with no evidence, and it makes you a victim. I certainly haven't experienced any of this privilege. I'm a 22-year-old white guy who lives in an area where white people aren't the vast majority, and I have to say, not too privilegey around here. And I swear, if you tell me privileged people are blind to their privilege, then I can simply turn it around and say that you are blind to your privilege. 2, you will not convince me that I'm receiving benefits when I'm not. Just because God hasn't given you a sign doesn't mean he doesn't exist. That's how I hear that. One privilege I'll admit to is that I get treated better by white supremacists. But that's about it.
How does it feel to not be the spokesperson for your entire race at any given time?
Must be nice.
Says the people who are willingly engaging in speaking for their entire race. Are you seriously willing to engage in an activity and then bitching about the fact that you accepted the offer? There was more than one of you in this video, right? It really sucks having to speak for your race. Excuse me, would you like to speak for your race? Absolutely! Come on. Anyway, that's the end. I hope I answered all of your questions thoroughly. Have a wonderful day.